Can you eat whatever you want on intermittent fasting? If you've been considering intermittent fasting as a way to help improve your health, you may have been asking that very question. If that sounds like you, then you are in the right place. I am here to answer that question during today's video, so let's dive in. Hi, I'm Dr. Kelly Shockley, Doctor of Cause Chiropractic, board certified in sports medicine and specialized in clinical nutrition. In this video, we're going to be going over the number one food you should avoid like the plague if you're going to actually do intermittent fasting. It will completely derail you and all effort will be lost. Then we'll cover the little known strategies for making your fast a success. There's more to it than just eating between certain hours. And finally, I'll be sharing with you the hidden benefits you'll be enjoying as a result of doing intermittent fasting. There's far more than just weight loss in your future. Let's get started. What is the number one food you should be avoiding like the plague if you're considering doing an intermittent fast? Because it will completely derail you. The answer is sugars and alcohols, high glycemic foods, and fried foods. Now, what do all of these have in common? It's more that they are higher glycemic index. Now, what that means is it's how high does your blood sugar spike after you consume a certain food. Higher glycemic index foods contain more carbohydrates to them, which ultimately is going to derail you for a number of reasons. First of all, they're stressful on your body. They create a lot of inflammation, which is counterproductive for what you're trying to accomplish with doing a fast. The other, bigger reason is you're not going to have much lasting power if all you're doing is fueling your body with these simple carbohydrates. The reason being is carbohydrates. Let's think of this way. Let's say you have a fire that you need to keep burning all day long, and you have three different options for a fuel source. The first option would be carbohydrates, which is the equivalent of kindling. Now, kindling is great to start a fire, but could you imagine how much kindling you would need to have and how often you'd have to add it to the fire in order to keep that fire burning 24/7? That's a lot of kindling, which translates to that's a lot of carbohydrates. If you're planning on not eating all hours of the day, then fueling with carbohydrates is not going to help you be very successful with trying to do that. You're going to be hungry because your body needs more nutrients. Your body needs something that has more lasting power to it. So the next option would be, because while I told you to avoid carbohydrates, I want to finish this analogy for you, okay? And not all carbohydrates, for clarity, just the simple carbohydrates, the high glycemic carbohydrates, which do also include grains, okay? Vegetables, fruits in minor amounts, but lots of vegetables, those are great sources of carbohydrates, and also fiber, which we need a lot of. That provides more satiety too. The next on the list for fueling your fire would be protein. Protein would be more like the equivalent of putting a log on the fire. Definitely going to get a lot more lasting power with that log, but it's still not going to last 24/7 now, is it? So you're going to have to still, not near as frequently as kindling, but you're still going to have to go throw another log on the fire more periodically, okay? What provides the longest lasting fuel supply would be fat. Fat is more like the equivalent of taking charcoal and putting that on the fire. It's nice, it's slow burning, and it can last for hours and hours and hours. So when you're doing your intermittent fasting, you want to consume vegetables, which are your complex carbohydrates, good amounts of proteins, and high amounts of healthy fats in order to really be successful with your fast, okay? The other thing about those foods, those ones that I told you to avoid, the sugars, the alcohols, high glycemic foods, fried foods, is, like I said, they're very stressful on the body, and it's counterproductive for trying to create an environment for healing to occur. You're going to be creating more inflammation and more damage in the process if you choose to enter those in. Now, did you know that those types of foods can completely sabotage your fast? I'm curious, so drop your answer down in the comments below. I know, people think just because I'm only going to eat, for 6 hours out of a day that I can eat whatever I want to because I'm not going to eat near as much. It doesn't really work out that way, which leads us into our second topic that we are going to be discussing. The second topic that we're going to be discussing, which is the little known strategy for making your intermittent fast a success. there are some rules to the game. So being familiar with how does this work effectively really will set you up for more success. Okay, so what are some of these rules and tips for helping you be successful with your intermittent fast? The first one is to have patience. It takes a little bit to get used to doing an intermittent fast and actually enjoying it. So give yourself some time. You are going to feel hungry potentially with eating in a smaller window of time compared to what you would otherwise. But remember, if you are really making sure you're bolstering your meals with some good healthy fats, that's going to be providing longer lasting power for you. The other part of this is when you're beginning, allow yourself to have a little bit bigger eating window. So instead of just going straight to maybe only eating 6 hours out of every 24, maybe give yourself 12 or 14 hours, unless that's what you're doing right now, then cut it back by maybe 2 and work your way down to maybe just 6 hours. The biggest thing you don't want to do here is to jump straight into what they call a 20-4 routine, where you're only eating 4 hours out of the day. That is going to set you up for failure because it's too big of a change and a shock to the system. So start with maybe fasting for only 14 hours or 12 and then working to like 16 or 18. And then ultimately, as you've made progress, you'll be able to do the 24 type of plan if that's something you're after. There are some rules that can stress people out if they focus too much of like, oh, what's going to break my fast? But to cover these details in case that is you, which is fine, I want to share with you some of the foods that will break a fast. Like the key with the fast is you're fasting. You're not supposed to eat. There are a couple of things you can get away with, which I'll get to in a moment, but you don't want to snack during a fast. So using like MCT oil, BPCs, a bit of fruit or etc., that's going to break your fast. What has been proven to be fine and allows you to continue fasting is like black coffee, tea with no sweetener. Those are fine. Anything else, just avoid it. And like I said, if you need to, start with a shorter fasting window until you can work up your stamina and, get used to this transition. Now, if you are going to be considering doing workouts while you're fasting, the key for success here is don't push too hard during those fasted workouts because you'll end up tanking. And oftentimes this is a great way that people derail themselves and end up consuming food when they were choosing not to consume, so they break their fast. Now, I know this is all about like, can you eat whatever you want while intermittent fasting? And the answer is definitely no. But the other thing you need to be aware of is that, say you give yourself a 12-hour window to start for eating. It doesn't mean eat everything and anything that you can. Like, don't gorge yourself during that time frame because it also messes up then the digestive process, which creates other issues when you actually overeat. So if you already have some digestive issues, one of the suggestions is to use one of those larger eating windows initially and have smaller meals. That way your body can properly digest what it is that you're consuming. And getting back to, can I eat whatever I want to? Doing an intermittent fast is not going to counter not eating properly. Okay, you're only going to be as successful as the type of effort and food that you're going to put into your body. We are what we eat. So you don't want to put bad fuel in. You cannot eat whatever you want on an intermittent fast and expect to get all of the amazing benefits that you could. You might get some weight loss out of it, even with not eating the best options, but you definitely won't be getting the rest of the benefits that I'm going to share with you here in just a moment. And the other really big key for intermittent fasting is to drink a lot of water. But I need to give you some clarity on this because right now there's this 75 hard challenge that's going around where the goal is to drink a gallon of water. That's too much for anybody if you're not going to be replacing electrolytes at the same time. My rule of thumb is half of your body weight in ounces per day is what you should consume as kind of your maintenance level of water, up to 3 quarts, which is 96 ounces. Okay. So if you weigh over 200 pounds, I still don't want you drinking more than 96 ounces of water in a day unless you're going to add in some electrolytes. You can drink too much water. And the problem with this is when you're drinking a ton of water and not replacing electrolytes is now you throw off your electrolyte balance. You actually dilute them out. And guess what? Your brain and your nervous system can't communicate without proper electrolytes and everything can go downhill. real fast when you start diluting things out too much. In fact, you can end up dying from doing that. So do not drink more than 96 ounces of water in a day. If you weigh more than 200 pounds, otherwise stick to what half of your body weight is in ounces per day. Obviously, if you're working out and sweating, you want to replace what you lose, but generally you're going to be adding in electrolytes at that point as well, too. Okay, so those types of tips and like rules of the game are going to help you be more successful with your intermittent fasting. Before I get into the hidden benefits that you will start enjoying as a result of doing intermittent fasting, I just want to give you a little friendly reminder to click that subscribe button right down here. Click that, turn the notifications on. That way you don't miss out on a future episode. I am regularly producing content that will help you be able to take back control of your health and achieve what I like to call total body mastery. So click that subscribe button, turn the notifications on, and you will be set. Awesome. Okay, so what are these hidden benefits that you get to enjoy as a result of doing intermittent fasting correctly? Let's just get into them. The first one is you are going to turn your body into a powerhouse for burning fat. So while you are going to lose weight, there's more to this than just losing the weight. You are not going to be a fat, skinny person. Have you ever known anybody who's like incredibly thin, but if they've done a body composition test, you see that they're like 46% fat? You don't want that. That's not healthy. Okay. We want lower, like 20% less. I mean, you can look up your BMI and what appropriate body fat percentages are versus, men versus females, athletic versus not as active. We want it definitely less than 40. Okay. Less than 20 is really better. So by doing intermittent fasting, what you're doing is you're making your body tap more into these unused fat stores for fuel. And so you're going to naturally just start burning more fat, which is awesome, like super awesome. Another benefit is you are actually improving your insulin sensitivity, which is the opposite of insulin resistance. So you're really decreasing your risk of developing type 2 diabetes, which is phenomenal because that is aging in fast forward. Nobody wants to go down that path. And intermittent fasting can actually help somebody who is a type 2 diabetic be able to heal themselves to a point where they no longer need diabetic medication, maybe not even considered diabetic anymore. You can recover. So that's phenomenal. Another hidden benefit, which is huge, is you're going to be decreasing what's called oxidative stress and decreasing inflammation. Oxidative stress damages cells. That's what you need to know. And inflammation is the root cause of all disease and illness. When you're eating the way that we have discussed in this time frame, you're also really decreasing the amount of stress on the body and reducing the inflammation at the same time, which ultimately is going to help with all aspects of your health. There's research that has shown that intermittent fasting can be really good for heart health in general. With this, it's been shown to improve different risk factors associated with heart disease, which is the #1 killer in the United States. So one thing it does is it improves your blood sugar levels. It will improve blood pressure. It can improve your triglyceride levels. Like you'll see those come right down where they need to be. It improves your cholesterol markers as well. And then again, as I was just mentioning, inflammation, it's going to totally decrease inflammatory markers if you've ever had blood work done. This is a great way to improve that without needing to use any form of prescription medication. Intermittent fasting helps your body repair itself. It really facilitates repair down at the cellular level. So ultimately what that means is you're going to have better recovery time. If you're working out, like you won't get as sore as long as often. You are going to heal faster. As we get older, some people notice that their healing time decreases. This is a way to boost and ramp that back up. And ultimately, it just helps with maintaining proper cell type of integrity. There is even research that suggests it might help prevent cancer. And I think part of this is because you're generally eating healthier foods, which is always going to help. And then just the process of not carrying extra pounds and reducing the inflammation, you're making an environment that is not suitable for cancer cells or any other kinds of microbes that you don't want in your body. There is major benefit for your brain health. Okay. We were created, like say it this way. We have not evolved much from our early ancestors. And going through these periodic bouts of starvation, call it intermittent fasting, it really helped the mind stay sharp. It's almost like we had to be able to seek out food for survival in such a manner that everything about our brain sharpened. Okay? There's a growth hormone associated with the brain called brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Intermittent fasting helps stimulate the release and production of this growth hormone. That growth hormone helps you actually generate new brain cells and repair the ones you have, keep the ones that you have, which is critically important for brain health. And along that, there's research suggesting that it can help prevent Alzheimer's and dementia. And if you keep your brain sharp, that's not going to be part of your future. And that's pretty awesome, considering that that is extremely on the rise. And ultimately, you're going to be living a healthier lifestyle overall. So there is speculation that this could help improve lifespan. And ultimately, what I like to focus in on more is the quality of the life that you have left while you're here. So huge benefits that you're going to get. It's not just about losing weight. There's so much more. Just your overall health and well-being is going to skyrocket, which will be amazing. Now, if you're still kind of struggling on what types of food should I be eating, and you're not entirely sure what that looks like, you don't want to do something wrong, I have for you down in the description below. So just click the description, make it expand, look for the 7-day full body reset meal plan. This could be used as an entry into your intermittent fasting. The foods on here are completely acceptable, so you could eat these meals during your fast or your intermittent fasting time frame. But if you're not used to eating clean and you don't know what that looks like, this is a great place to start to get your body used to eating quality foods. Now, this meal plan was designed for you who are busy or don't like to cook. You do not have to cook every single meal every single day, because honestly, who has time for that? There's also a grocery list in there for you for convenience. And then the recipes are delicious. They don't have many ingredients and they don't take near the amount of time to cook. So it's very easy, very effective, and is a great starting place. And then again, you can eat all of these meals in whatever time frame you choose to do your fasting in. So just click the description down below, find that link for the 7-day full body reset meal plan, and you will get instant access. I appreciate you so much. Good luck in your intermittent fasting journey. I'm here if you need me for anything, so don't hesitate to reach out. You can get me in the comments down below in my videos, and I will look forward to seeing you on a future video. God bless.